In the early 20th century, India had a problem. Delhi was infested by dangerous cobra snakes, and the government needed a solution to this problem. So they introduced a bounty. They would pay money for every dead cobra. But then people realized that they could make money by breeding cobras at home. So now there were more cobras than before. When the government realized what was happening, they cancelled the bounty, and the people released all of their cobras into the wild. The government, by trying to solve the problem of cobras, actually made the problem worse. This is called the Cobra Effect. And you can find the Cobra Effect in the world of language learning. Because you see, giving students English exams actually makes their English worse. So what exactly is the problem that exams are trying to solve? Well, exams are sometimes the only way that students and/or their parents have to know exactly what's happening inside the classroom. Are the students learning? Is the teacher effective? How does the student's knowledge compare to students from another class, another school, another country? Exams are great at giving us that information. But in trying to solve this problem, they create an even more sinister problem. They stop students from learning, and they stop teachers from teaching. Let me explain. The first problem is that exams encourage something called item teaching. Students who are preparing for an exam have some type of workbook, and inside the workbook they have very specific items of grammar and vocabulary and topics. And the teachers and the students focus on only those items that are in the workbook because they know that they will be in the exam. But this is severely limiting. The second thing is that the activities contained in most classroom activities are just not realistic. They don't reflect the type of things that people have to do in the real world. Multiple choice, fill in the blank, sentence transformations. Nobody actually does these outside of the classroom. And the third thing is definitely the biggest problem, and that is that students and teachers and parents think that good English exam results mean good English. But here's the thing, exams are a business. Businesses need to make money, and they only make money if students pass. English exams are designed to be passed by their very nature. So, good English exams results do not necessarily mean good English. Well, that all seems pretty depressing, right? I mean, let's be realistic. Exams are not going to disappear and workbooks are not going to disappear. So, how can teachers teach and students learn in a meaningful way and also improve their exam results? The answer to this question comes from Chicago. Not the musical, the place in America. In 2001, 3 researchers released this paper. They looked at Chicago's public schools and asked a very simple question. What happens to students' learning when teachers assign work that demands complex thinking and elaborated communication about issues important in students' lives? And the results are incredible. So what did the researchers do? Well, they looked at all of the classroom assignments in Chicago's public schools and divided them into 2 categories: high quality and low quality work. Now, a low-quality assignment from a teacher looks like this. Identify the part of speech of each underlined word below. All 8 parts of speech, nouns, pronouns, verbs, etc. Okay, you get the idea. And a high-quality assignment looks like this. Write a paper persuading someone to do something. Pick any topic that you feel strongly about, convince the reader to agree with your belief, and convince the reader to take a specific action on this belief. They couldn't be any more different. So, what happened to the learning outcomes of children with high quality and low quality assignments? Well, look at this. That's right, up to a 42% increase in learning just by changing the type of assignment given in class. Now that's all fine for Chicago, but what about if you are a teacher or a student who is stuck with one of these? What can you do? Well, you can replicate exactly the same thing by photocopying just one page. You see, a workbook contains many items and lists of specific grammar and vocabulary, but the only page that you need is this one, the curriculum page. Once you have photocopied this, you can throw the book away. Now, you know that Unit 3 is about music and fame. If you're a teacher, give your students authentic materials and assignments about music and fame. If you're a student, go looking for authentic materials and assignments about music and fame. It really is that simple. I want to read you a short extract from the conclusion of the Chicago research. Our key point is that it is the intellectual demands embedded in classroom tasks, not the mere occurrence of a particular teaching strategy or technique, that influence the degree of student engagement and learning. You don't need any special techniques, you don't need any special resources or materials. All you need is to activate this. The important question is, why is it essential for teachers to teach well and for students to really deeply learn and understand? Well, some people learn English as a hobby or as an intellectual challenge, but a majority of people learn English because they want opportunities to travel, to meet people, to communicate. And also they want opportunities for the future. And the world is changing. In their book, The New Division of Labor, Frank Levy and Richard Murnane give a list of skills that will be essential in the future. And one of those is the ability to engage in complex communication with others. By teaching well and by really understanding, you are giving yourself or your students a future. You know, I'm always telling you guys that the best part of my job is the students, the incredible people that I meet who always inspire me. And one of those people who inspired me to make this class was Eva Gallardo. She is a professor at the university in Barcelona. And one day we were talking about exams and I told her that I just hated exams. I didn't understand why people wanted to do them. I didn't think that they had any value. And she said to me, "No, Christian, the reason that teachers should give students exams is so that they can give them feedback. They can show them where they make mistakes, where they're strong, where they're weak. That is the real reason for an exam." So if you're a student, then what's really important, the important part of the exam process is when the teacher gives it back to you and you look at it and you see the mistakes you made, and you can go back and work on those problems. And if you're a teacher, that's your moment when you're giving the student the exam to look and say, right, I can see you have a problem here. And that's why I have a real problem with some exams where you do the exam and you never see the paper. A lot of very expensive and famous English exams from big companies, you don't get a copy, you don't know what mistakes you made. And that seems, well, it's fundamentally wrong. And I'm just so thankful to people like Eva who really show us what teaching is all about. That it's about helping people to do that thing, and that's the real reason for exams. So, teacher or student, I hope that you really take this on board, and I hope it changes the way that you learn in class and that you give exams in the future.